Hi, I'm Andy. Welcome to the ADK Rock and Metal channel. It's album review time. What we've decided to do is sort of divide the workload and all take on our own individual album reviews. And Dave has sort of allocated us each with probably our favoured genres of music, just to make it a little bit more interesting and enjoyable for us. He's going to take on, the rock, classic metal, the alternative stuff, maybe the punks and hardcore stuff that comes our way. Kirk's can do more extreme stuff, the progressive metal, the deathcore, that kind of thing. And I'm going to do sort of death metal and doom metal, which I'm very, very pleased about. So thank you for that. The first one that's come my way in this new format is an album from German duo Vast Pyre. This is their self-titled album. It's out on Octopus Rising Records on August the 30th. And they describe themselves as stoner doom. And I think that's probably absolutely spot on listening to this album. Consists of 5 tracks, namely Focus Deceased, Cataleptic, Revelation, Eternal Funeral, and The Argent Tomb. They all clock in at around 9-10 minutes. I think the last track's 11 minutes, so there's a lot to get through. Sort of 5 lengthy songs, but I'll just go through them quickly with you and let you know my thoughts on each one. First one is obviously, as I said, Focus Deceased. And we've got 2 minutes of really low-end, slow, crushing riffs before the vocals kick in, and they sound very despairing. The guy's sort of in anguish when he's delivering his vocals. I'm not quite sure exactly what the topic matter are, but he's got that sort of distress feel to the vocals, which he delivers throughout. They get a little bit whiny on occasions, but I did quite like them. They're obviously clean in that respect. This particular track's got a nice chilled interlude, and one thing this band do like is their effects pedals. So there's sort of flange and fuzz, and I don't know the terminology, but you can obviously hear wah wah pedals. They employ a lot of effect pedals throughout their song just to sort of break up and make it a little bit more interesting. And this one has a sort of fuzzy outro. When Cataleptic started, the second track, I thought, this is. It's either a cover and they've changed the name, or a complete rip-off of Black Sabbath's Iron Man, just in the tone of the guitar and the first couple of notes, but obviously it didn't turn out to be the case. From that initial intro, there's some tribal drumming, and then it goes into a almost funeral doom tempo, so really, really slow, which obviously I'm going to love. Picks up slightly sort of towards the end, rumbling, fuzzy riffs, and again, throwing the effects pedals as well, just to change the sound. Really, really good track. I mean, there's a death metal section in there as well, so it gets a little bit faster with harsh vocals. And there's a very, very poor solo towards the end as well. From the press release, that they actually brought in a friend to do the solos because they're just a 2-piece really, and it's not very good. It's the only really negative point I can say about the album. The solos are very below par from what you'd expect from metal, even in doom, which obviously isn't very overcomplicated, but the solos probably very, should have been omitted in my opinion. Next up is Revelation. Starts with a sort of simple, chuggy, almost hypnotic riff. Goes into sort of even simpler single note riff as well. And this is where the sort of whiny vocals come in. It's almost like he's sort of quiet and stepped away from the microphone, in the recording booth. I'm not quite sure that technique, but obviously it's sort of slightly different from the vocals on the first couple of songs. Eternal Funeral is next. Sorrowful and melodic intro, more crushing riffs, with a chugging midsection, and the guitar sort of take almost like a Middle Eastern feel in the tone. And that layer that with the sort of trademark fuzzy riffs that they like before closing with a sort of really heavy passage, which was great. The longest song on the album is the closer, The Argent Tomb, sort of atmospheric opening, sort of almost ambient. More pedals, more feedback, more fuzz, and again those sort of disembodied, distant vocals. But the solo's a bit better on this one. It sort of reminded me of Queens of the Stone Age, had that sort of tone to the solo. So yeah, they're my thoughts on the 5 tracks. Really enjoyed the album and listened to it sort of 3 or 4 times just to get a feel of it, and it was enjoyable to keep doing the repeat listens. It wasn't a chore, so I quite liked it. But here's the press release. Starts with a quote. I'm not sure if this is from the lyrics, but beware those dark pleasures which surround you. Before the vast pyre fulfills its relentless force, you'll dwell in its constantly obsessed mind. Vast pyre is a mirror of failure, reflection of the soul, adrift in inadequacies and human obscurities. Come and enter the world of heavy hypnotizing riffs and unhinged souls. Behold the night time. I don't know if they're sort of lyrics. I assume they are. But this is the sort of band bio. At the end of 2021, I've got their full names written down here from another site. Alexander Forsty Gunners, who's the guitarist, and Christian Wally Wallstein, his drums and vocals, were in the mood and got together for a jam and done some stoner doom tunes from the likes of Electric Wizard, Black Sabbath, and Sleep. And we're hanging out from time to time. I think there's some of this has been lost in translation, probably from the original German. They knew what they wanted. After some time, after some sessions and finding the right sound, they concentrated on writing their own songs. A few ideas got discarded, but bit by bit, they extended their backline equipment in the rehearsal room and got everything they needed and added more low end to the guitar. In the end, there was a huge backline that drove their sound forward, and they decided not to put in any bass as an instrument separately. They just wanted to make guitar-only music. I think they're obviously, I don't know if they're young lads, but it sounds like they're sort of just starting out as a band, and maybe starting out as sort of musicians who play songs together. Later, their friend Johnny, lead guitar, joined the band at the end of 2022. So he's the guy guilty of the not very good solos. Henceforth, the songs were rearranged and fine-tuned. In August 2023, Vast Pyre opened the festival Bergbrand Open Air and shared the stage with bands like Eremit and Indian Nightmare, to name just a few. This would be the only concert they played that year because they wanted to record and mix their stuff, and which eventually they did in November 2023 through to February this year. So it's been in the can a little while. As I said, released August the 30th. So yeah, we've also come up with sort of new rating systems from what we've done before. If you've been following the channel for any length of time, sort of in what I'm trying to say, in sort of relation to a concert or a festival. So if the album is really good, we would mark it as this band the headliners. If it was a decent album, they'd be main support. If there's work to do, we class it as the openers. And if it was not really good at all, it's back to the rehearsal room. So sort of 1 to 4 in that format. Listen to it through a few times. I will listen to it again, but it's not something I'd actively go out and purchase, which is sort of reference to the previous listing. So I would rate Vast Pyre, the self-titled album, as main support. So that's my rating on that. As I say, Stoner Doom, out on August the 30th. Go and check it out if you like the sound of what I'll pass on to you. But looking out for it later in the year. So that's all from me. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on another video very soon. Thanks very much. Goodbye.